I mean, they're projected to lose between 2 and 400 million on this.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Disney is in full-scale damage control mode, and it's uglier behind the curtain than anyone dared imagine. Following the spectacular failure of its live-action Snow White remake, insiders are calling it a $115 to $120 million catastrophe, and executives are scrambling to contain the fallout. The film, reportedly budgeted between $240 million and $270 million, opened to approximately $87 million worldwide, stark contrast to expected figures of $300 to $400 million now. Box office analysts warn it could struggle to break even, given its staggering production and marketing costs. Behind the scenes, Disney's boardrooms have transformed into war rooms. Insiders report closed-door crisis meetings that stretch late into the night. Fingers are being pointed all over. Some top executives are blaming marketing misfires, a hastily executed promotions schedule, and a deluge of negative buzz, especially surrounding the film's portrayal of the dwarfs, overt political messaging, and intense online hate campaigns. But the most explosive allegation: that Disney has quietly begun demanding compensation from star Rachel Zegler, claiming her outspoken activism and social media presence helped poison the film's reputation, narrative damaged the studio, is now saying cost them more than $100 million. The timeline is damning. In August 2024, at the D23 Fan Expo, Zegler posted a celebratory message after the trailer hit 120 million views. Then she added, "And always remember, free Palestine." That off-the-cuff political statement went viral. 8.8 million additional. Vuzan reportedly blindsided Disney execs. Producer Mark Platt is said to have flown to New York immediately, urging the star to remove the post. She reportedly refused, deepening tensions. Meanwhile, her later posts sculling the original 1937 fairy tale dated, calling Prince Charming a stalker, and publicly criticizing former President Trump are now seen as the tipping points in a series of promotional missteps that real-time tracking models say sapped audience enthusiasm before releases. Media pressure mounted, and after a second wave of backlash over Trump-related comments, Disney reportedly engaged a social media strategist to vet Zegler's posts. Simultaneously, the company drastically scaled back her promotional appearances. Joint interviews with co-star Gal Gadot were canceled. Her Hollywood premiere run was downgraded, and high-profile TV spots, including Saturday Night Live, were scrapped. The result: even before the film's March 21, 2025 release, morale was low. Advance ticket sales were sluggish, with one theater owner noting, "Advance sales cycle of less than 2 weeks screams, we have zero faith in this, think Riddick's Pandit," calling the CGI dwarfs lifeless and the story chaotic and uninspired, while audiences review-bombed the film online. Midweek tracking flagged potential disaster. Disney had already started pulling back marketing efforts, limiting red carpet exposure for Zegler. Then came the financial reckoning. Disney insiders now claim the studio may lose as much as $115 to $120 million after combining production expenses, shoots, marketing, and poor box office returns. A sensational report even alleges that the studio is calculating how much of that loss to pin on Zegler, demanding that she reimburse a staggering sum for damages to the franchise and the brand. Legal experts, however, caution that such claims are likely highly improbable, noting that stars rarely bear direct financial liability unless their contracts explicitly tie compensation to box office. Performance Disney officials have neither confirmed nor denied the figures, stating only that they are reviewing all aspects of the Snow White release. Yet reports portray a studio braced for the aftermath. Disney reportedly paused development on its Tangled remake and is reevaluating future live-action remakes, a sign of deeper strategic recalibration. IF's confidence is shaky, with some major backers quietly rebalancing portfolios. The company has already lost its sheen as Hollywood's reliable brand machine. Casting Zegler as a Latina Snow White was originally hailed as progressive and transformative, but now insiders suggest the choice became the lightning rod for a broader cultural backlash. Public opinion splintered over dwarfs. Diversity, politics, visuals, and missteps. The film lost the narrative before hitting theaters. Now, Disney's top brass face a critical juncture. They must decide whether to double down and defend their choices or cut losses and recalibrate their remake strategy. And as the blame games spiral, Rachel Zegler, the once celebrated breakout star, finds herself at the eye of a storm that could redefine her career.
The thing that really shocks me about this story, Disney and all these media companies, they invest hundreds of millions of dollars into these projects, right? Have they ever thought about maybe like a little bit of vulnerability study, opposition research, that sort of thing, before you go and hire some Zoomer who's a lunatic?
Yes, you heard that right. Rumors are now swirling that Disney may be demanding financial compensation from actress Rachel Zegler after the catastrophic failure of the Snow White remake. This isn't just industry gossip. Multiple insiders are calling it a potential first in modern Hollywood, an unprecedented move where a studio turns on its own star after a major financial loss, following the film's disastrous opening weekend. Sources say a high-level emergency meeting was held inside Disney headquarters, the goal to assess the damage and figure out how to manage a box office shortfall that could cost the company over $120 million. But the conversation reportedly didn't stay focused on numbers for long. According to multiple people close to the situation, discussion quickly turned to the star at the center of the storm, Rachel Zegler. Insiders claim executives openly questioned whether Zegler's behavior during the film's promotional campaign had played a direct role in the movie's failure. That includes her now viral interviews mocking the original 1937 Snow White, calling the prince a stalker and saying the classic fairy tale was weird and creepy. Then there were the political comments. In the middle of a major promotional push, Zegler posted a pro-Palestinian message that quickly went viral. The timing couldn't have been worse from a marketing perspective. It reportedly blindsided Disney executives. Producers allegedly reached out privately, urging her to delete the post. She refused. Things escalated quickly from there. Interviews were pulled, appearances were canceled, red carpet events were downsized. By the time the movie hit theaters, Zegler had all but vanished from the campaign. Behind the scenes, Disney had already gone into full-scale damage control. Social media managers were brought in, PR teams were reassigned, and the studio, once proud of its bold reimagining of Snow White, now wanted as little attention on the project hand, its lead actress as possible. Still, the numbers didn't lie. With a production and marketing budget of nearly $250 million and an opening haul of just $87 million globally, the film is on track to lose more than $120 million. When all is said and done, now comes the fallout. According to several insiders, Disney's legal team has been asked to review Zegler's contract and determine whether her behavior could be classified as a breach, specifically under the morality and brand protection clauses that are standard in major studio agreements. If they find grounds, they could attempt to recoup part of the studio's financial loss by pursuing damages. It would be the first time in recent memory that a studio has taken such a step against a star over PR-related issues tied to a box office Flopped out, of course. Most legal experts say such a move would be difficult to win in court and could backfire publicly. But the fact that it's even being considered shows just how high the stakes are. The studio is under pressure from shareholders, from fans, from within to explain how one of its most iconic fairy tales was turned into a high-profile misfire. And at the center of that firestorm is Rachel Zegler, a breakout star now facing career-defining scrutiny. What was meant to be a launchpad to superstardom may now be a cautionary tale for Hollywood. And a case study in what happens when creative risks collide with modern-day controversy. Whether Disney actually goes through with its rumored legal action remains to be seen. But one thing is clear. The fallout from Snow White isn't over. Not by a long shot.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
So no prince or a different kind of prince?
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie,
Right.
Andrew Burnap, great dude. It's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024.
Some sources say it's no longer just damage control, it's war. Behind Disney's polished public statements lies a flurry of internal chaos, and now legal teams are allegedly involved. Their task? To explore whether Rachel Zegler's actions leading up to the Snow White disaster could trigger morality clauses or PR performance terms buried deep in her contract. In other words, Disney may be preparing to hold her financially accountable. It's a move that would mark a shocking new chapter in how studios respond to box office failures, especially ones that explode into full-blown public controversies. But insiders say this isn't just about money anymore, it's corporate warfare, disguised as crisis management. And Rachel Zegler might be the first casualty, the tipping point. A now infamous executive meeting reportedly held just days after the film's catastrophic opening weekend, according to one insider who claims to have been in the room. The tone was explosive. Disney's top brass weren't just disappointed. They were furious. The source recalls one executive standing up mid-meeting and shouting, "She torched a billion-dollar brand in under a year, and we paid her to do it." It was a damning moment, a stark shift in tone, and a clear signal that the gloves were coming off. Multiple sources say this wasn't a one-off reaction. Round the table, heads nodded in agreement. Quiet, tense acknowledgement that Snow White wasn't just a commercial misfire, was a reputational crisis. And Zegler was now seen as part of the problem. What followed was reportedly a discussion about possible financial restitution. It's still unclear what form that might take, whether it's clawing back performance bonuses, canceling back-end participation, or even demanding a formal public apology. But what was clear, according to those present, was that Rachel Zegler was no longer viewed as an asset to the studio. She was officially a liability. Executives reportedly began reviewing her timeline of public comments. Statements that had gone viral for all the wrong reasons. Her infamous remarks about the 1937 Snow White, where she dismissed the original as weird, mocked the prince as a stalker, and promised a feminist rewrite, had already drawn backlash online. Then came the political post-Cecily, her Free Palestine message shared just as the trailer hit record viewership numbers. That moment, sources say, infuriated marketing executives, who felt their campaign had been undercut in real time. According to one studio source, damage models were even discussed internal metrics used to estimate how much her off-screen behavior may have cost the brand in lost goodwill, ticket sales, and licensing opportunities for a studio like Disney, whose intellectual property is worth billions. Reputation isn't just important, it's everything. And when a star's public persona begins to overshadow or contradict the company's values and messaging, the response can be swift and brutal. Zegler, once seen as a bold and modern face for Disney's evolving identity, is now reportedly being reassessed internally. Her future involvement with the company is unclear, and speculation about her replacement or removal from ongoing projects has already begun. Still, legal experts caution that actually invoking a morality clause or pursuing damages could be difficult. These clauses are rarely enforced and often vaguely worded. But even without legal follow-through, the message being sent is loud and unmistakable. This is what happens when controversy collides with corporate image, whether or not Disney officially takes action. The fallout from Snow White has already changed the conversation in Hollywood. Studios are watching. PR teams are scrambling. And actors, agents, executives alike are being reminded of a hard truth in the age of viral media. Every word matters. And in Rachel Zegler's case, those words may have cost her everything. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, drop a comment below, and most importantly, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss the real stories behind the spotlight. At Celeb Club 1, we bring you the hottest gossip, behind-the-scenes drama, and the untold moments your favorite stars don't want you to see. Thanks for watching, and remember, stay glam, stay curious, only on Celeb Club 1.